The education sector is being plagued by several crises at present. Crisis situations at several schools have a direct effect on both students and parents.
Now, experts constantly point out that if a country's future is to be guaranteed at some extent, such a guarantee depends on the education of its children.
The main objective of the 2010 Mahinda Chintana Vision for the Future manifesto is to make Sri Lanka an education hub. The foundation for such an ambitious goal should commence with primary education. Although physical and human resources are a necessity to reach this lofty goal, there is a critical shortage of these resources in a number of rural schools in Sri Lanka. A demonstration was staged opposite the Kandabadagama Primary School in Mahava today. Protesters were demanding a solution to the prevailing shortage of teachers at the school. The flow of traffic on the Galtanwewa Road via Yapahua was also disrupted as a result of this demonstration organized by parents and past pupils of the school. The efforts of the police to disperse these protesters did not yield any results. The arrival of the Mahava Educational Director caused an uproar. A demonstration was also held this morning opposite the Muthukundiya Stage 2 Junior School. Demonstrators were protesting against this school being converted into a primary school offering classes only up to grade 5. A group of parents staged a demonstration today opposite the Morayaya Mahavidyalaya in Veerakatiya demanding that a temporary building at the school be renovated. Another group of parents staged a demonstration of the same issue at the Morayaya Junction. The Morayaya Veerakatiya road was blocked as a result of this. The group dispersed after Minister Mahinda Amaravira arrived at the location and promised to provide temporary roofing sheets for this building. In 2009, as a percentage of GDP, countries including Malaysia, the Maldives, Nepal and Indonesia had allocated far more funds for their education sector than Sri Lanka. In 2010, Malaysia, Nepal, Japan and India too had made larger allocations for education than Sri Lanka as a percentage of GDP. In 2011, when the Maldives allocated 6.8% of its GDP for education, Sri Lanka had only allocated 2%. Speaking to Newsfirst, Nadim Majid in an exclusive interview in 2012 on the sidelines of the South Asian Regional Conference of the Eisenhower Fellowships, former Pakistani Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Professor Ata-ur Rahman, highlighted the need to allocate more funds for higher education since the human resource is a country's most important resource.
Now, during your time as the Minister for Science and Technology and later as the Minister for Higher Education, you did some remarkable things in terms of increasing the investment. Would you care to explain?
Yes, I convinced President Musharraf that the way forward for Pakistan, if we want to get rid of poverty and if we want to move forward in the process of socio-economic development, is to invest in our real wealth, which is our children, our students. So there was a 6,000% increase in the development budget for science and technology and a 2,400% increase in the development budget for higher education. I think Sri Lanka has to follow the same path. Sri Lanka has a lot of talent. You have a bulging young population, but you are spending only about 1.8% of your GDP in education.
Now, over the past 2 days, Newsfirst has reported on problems that have arisen as a result of an issue in the distribution of water to the Jaffna and Kilinochchi districts.
Certain authorities and the people of Kilinochchi are against the proposed project to provide water to the Jaffna district via the Irnamadu reservoir.
The first project to fulfill the water need of the Jaffna district was proposed in 1960 by the then Deputy Director of the Department of Irrigation, Engineer Shanmugam Marumugam. The intention of this project was to cross the Chundikulam, Thundaman Aru and Navakuli areas around the Elephant Pass Lagoon, remove the seawater in the estuary and fill it with rainwater and river water. The projects aim to transport water collected in this manner to the Jaffna Peninsula through canals. The project has received the backing of both area politicians and farmer organizations. The Arumugam plan could be implemented at a lower cost than the Irnamadu plan. The Irnamadu tank only receives water from the Kanagarayan Oya. However, through the Arumugam plan, 6 main rivers are brought together. If this plan is implemented, we will be able to provide water to the people of Jaffna. The people of Kilinochchi will also be able to carry out farming activities.
I wrote a letter to the President stating that the Iranamadu plan will not succeed, nor providing drinking water while there is water is a sinful act. However, there isn't enough water to be sent to Jaffna as well. The people of Kilinochchi are suffering because of the water shortage. There are a number of proposed solutions. The Arumugham plan is one of them. If it is implemented, then issues relating to water in both districts will be resolved by around 50%.
A project was initiated in the past to pump water from the Iranamadu tank to farmlands in Kilinochchi using a pumping station and separate canals. However, this project too is now defunct. Meanwhile, various parties expressed their views recently on the water crisis in Kilinochchi and Jaffna.
They plan to increase the water levels of the Iranamadu reservoir by 2 meters and provide water to Jaffna. However, the water in the tank at present is insufficient for the people of Kilinochchi as well. Did they speak to the TNA about this? They asked if this was discussed with the TNA. The Northern Provincial Council is the TNA. Who this project was discussed with and with whom this project was not discussed with is not important.
While there is much debate on providing water to Jaffna, the Sri Lanka Mahaveli Authority launched their own project to provide water to the north. The plan to use tank water from the Murugakanda reservoir to Anuradhapura through the Alahara Canal and then divert this water to the Iranamadu tank. Assistant Director General of the Mahaveli Authority's Technical Division, NCM Navaratna, says that the canal which will transport water to the Iranamadu tank from the Murugakanda reservoir will span 160 kilometers and it is due to be constructed over the next 10 years. He pointed out that the aim of this project is to provide Mahaveli water to the Iranamadu tank and then fulfill the water requirements of Jaffna. This is because the Iranamadu tank will come under the purview of the central government if water is supplied to the tank from the Mahaveli project. The three main proposals to quench the water needs of Jaffna: Arumugham, Iranamadu, Mahaveli. It is doubtful as to what proposal would be eventually used to provide water to Jaffna.
Now you can share your views on this story by logging on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. Now in the meantime, we reported early in the bulletin today that the signing of nominations of the United People's Freedom Alliance for the Western Province got underway. Now Attorney at Law Susara Dinal De Silva and Hirnika Premachandra received nominations to contest the Gampaha and Colombo districts respectively. Now subsequent to receiving the nominations, Attorney at Law Susara Dinal De Silva expressed these views to Newsfirst.
I
am very happy to receive nominations and be part of a very vibrant team. During the recent past, many spoke of the individuals who were to receive nominations. I am glad to say that nominations have been provided to a group of professionals in the Gampaha district. As a former director of Newsfirst, I am glad to be making this statement today about receiving nominations.
Newsfirst කණ්ඩායමේ ප්‍රවෘත්ති අධ්‍යක්ෂවරයෙක් විදිහට කලක් කටයුතු කළපු කෙනෙක් විදිහට මට මේ ප්‍රකාශය කරන්න ලැබීමත් මගේ ජීවිතයේ භාග්‍යයක් කොට මම සැලකනවා.
UNP parliamentarian Sajid Premadasu stated that the reason for the breakdown of the Norichole power plant is a result of not taking necessary care of it.
He made this statement at an event held in Hambantota today. The event was organized under the Jana Surveyor program to provide concessionary loans for women in Siribopura, Hambantota. 361 low-income earning women in the area were given concessionary loans by the parliamentarian. The Secretary to the Ministry of Power is saying that the Electricity Board and the Ministry of Power are going to conduct complex investigations to find out why the Norichole power plant broke down. The Secretary also stated that it broke down for 271 days and that the Norichole project did not incur a loss for the country. Even after paying off the debt, Sri Lanka will still have 10,000 million left over. The Norichole power plant broke down for 271 days because the power plant was opened without anyone checking to see if the Chinese performed their duty properly. On to business news this evening. The National Gem and Jewellery Authority has ordered all jewellery manufacturers to place their markings on gold jewellery, noting the number of carats and identifying the maker.
The National Gem and Jewellery Authority says that the regulation will come into effect from the 1st of March.
Consultant at the National Gem and Jewellery Authority, Siri Chandra Singha, says that thus far there has been no proper marker on jewellery sold in the market in order to identify the maker. Problems that have arisen as a result of the failure to note the number of carats in a piece of gold jewellery are another cause for the introduction of the maker's mark system.
We will grant a grace period for this. Following the end of this period, we will take steps to inform those who have not conformed with this rule, and we will initiate legal action.
Singha added that if companies are to place a mark on jewellery made by them, they must be registered with the National Gem and Jewellery Authority.
Jewellery manufacturers must pay 5,000 rupees per annum and register with the authority. Their trademarks should be registered with the authority. The trademark must be registered with the authority for a period of 10 years. We will register the trademark in the laboratory and we will give the manufacturer a certificate. Other persons will not be able to use the registered trademarks.
Thank you very much, Joel. Now moving on to sports news, it's cricket. Left-arm spinner Rangana Herath and Shamin Eranga have been ruled out to play the second test against Bangladesh, scheduled to kick off tomorrow.
Sri Lanka Cricket has cited in its communique that Rangana Herath and Shamin Eranga are being listed to be sent back to Sri Lanka tomorrow owing to injuries sustained. Their places are to be taken up by Kusal Janit Perera and Thisara Perera, who were named in the ODI and T20 squad for the tour. Meanwhile, a decision has been reached to rest Mahendra Jayawardene for the upcoming one-day international series against Bangladesh. However, Mahendra Jayawardene has been named in the T20 squad against Bangladesh. Sri Lanka Cricket also announced that the newcomer Angelo Pereira has been selected for the squad that will play in the ODI and T20 matches. Sri Lanka youth cricket team emerged victorious in the second ODI by beating Australia by 111 runs. Batting first, Sri Lanka allotted 248 runs against their opponents in the ODI, which kicked off in Colombo Coles grounds. Batting in reply, the Australian youth team were bowled out for 137 runs. The Sri Lanka women's team lost by just 1 run in their first 2020 match against the England Academy women's squad. Batting first, the England Academy squad posted a total of 111 runs along 6 wickets at the 20 overs at the NCC today. Chasing a target of 111 runs, Sri Lanka posted 110 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Yashoda Mendis posted a total of 24 runs.
With that, we wrap up Primetime News at 9. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shahan Jarampati. We leave you tonight with a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Good night and take care.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.